I've had a lot of comments of people asking me to make this video, and I haven't because I'm scared of the internet. I just thought today's the day. I did not breastfeed my baby. Here's why. I had full intentions of breastfeeding when I was like going in to give birth. Like I didn't even have formula at my house because I was like, nope, don't need it. I'm gonna breastfeed. When Romeo was born, he was 8 pounds, 1 ounce. So keep that in mind. After I gave birth, immediately put him on the boob, was breastfeeding. I thought they basically told me when the babies are first born that they only need like a couple drops, honestly, of breast milk because they're just so tiny and their stomachs are so small. I was like, bet, like he's for sure getting a few drops. And I even had like a lactation nurse come in and be like, okay, like here's how you do it. Showed me how to do it. And I'm like, yep, sounds good. Got it. To my knowledge, I thought I was breastfeeding for the like 3 days that I was in the hospital. But on the last day when I was about to be discharged, I had a different lactation consultant come in. She was like, okay, like show me what you've been doing. I'm like, okay. So I show her and she's basically like, yeah, that's not right. Basically he would like latch, turn his head away, latch, turn his head away, like not actually getting food. So this woman like grabbed me, grabbed the baby and connected, put it in there. And she's like, that is what it's supposed to feel like. And I'm like, yeah, I haven't done this the last like 3 days. But then we were already like being discharged that day and I was like, oh, that's fine. I would say that was one of the hardest nights, was our first night home from the hospital with the baby. We had already lost a good bit of weight in the hospital and that's normal. They were basically like, wake him up every 2 hours to eat. And I was like, okay, I can do that. Through the night, I was up every 2 hours feeding him. Basically take me like an hour to feed him. You can only imagine how much sleep I got the first night when we came home. 0. And also when I would be trying to like breastfeed him and latch him, screaming, crying for the entire time. He was crying, I was crying. I was so anxious because I'm like, has he not been eating the last like 4 days? Like what is happening? Then the next morning we had our first pediatrician appointment. They weigh him and they do everything and they're like, whoa, he has lost over a pound, which is like a lot for a little baby. She's like, you need to like immediately start him on formula. He's lost way too much weight. And I was like, I remember coming home and literally being so sad and like sobbing, probably the hormones and everything, but also just like, I wanted to breastfeed so bad. And you know, you still can, and I did try. She was like, okay, start him on formula immediately, try and breastfeed and also pump. And I was like, okay. So then I'm home. My boobs are Dolly Parton. If you know, you know, the most engorged thing of my entire life. It's so painful, so uncomfortable. I'm literally like sweating all through the day, all through the night. I'm trying to like pump and like relieve this pressure as much as possible. I could produce milk. It did take a long time to get a few ounces. My mom was a lactation specialist, so I kept trying to breastfeed and she would like take the formula in like a syringe and like drip it on my nipple, and like try and get him to latch that way. It was not working. So I was kind of like, okay, he hates my boobs. Let's just move to a bottle and I'll just pump. He would probably do 2 ounces of breast milk and it would take him probably like an hour to like drink that. And I was kind of just like, I'm sitting here for an hour and he's only drinking 2 ounces. The time I decided to give him his first like formula bottle versus like breast milk bottle, I remember he drank like 4 ounces in like 20 minutes and I was like, what? That's so disrespectful. The fact that he absolutely chowed the formula and did not want anything to do with my breast milk. At this point, I feel like I'm hearing like a bunch of different people's opinions. I have my mom and both of my friends who solely like breastfed for over a year. And then I also have my mother-in-law and just some other people who did formula and they're like, there's no pressure. You can do this. You have this option. Like whatever works best for you. After a straight week of like trying to breastfeed and absolutely him not latching, probably another week of just pumping, him taking an hour to have like 2 ounces and me absolutely crashing out, not okay mentally, I made the decision to formula feed my baby. I truly believe breastfeeding is the more natural way. That was what I wanted to do. But I think what's the most important is Romeo having a mommy that is mentally sane and him being fed. Once I switched to formula and Isaac was able to help feed the baby and my mom was able to help feed the baby and Isaac's mom was able to help feed the baby, I was like, holy cow, I feel so much better. I know people have different opinions about that and some people may think I'm selfish for doing that, but I waited 8 months to share this, but I'm very confident in my decision to formula feed and I have a perfectly healthy, chunky little man. I don't feel ashamed about it at all. I remember the only formula I had at my house was By Heart. They had just sent me a PR package and I like randomly threw it in my cupboard because I was like, don't need it. That was the brand I ended up using and sticking with and he's perfect. It's organic, it's so healthy. He's loved it since day one. I will say, when I do decide to have another baby one day, I think I'm going to try a little bit harder on breastfeeding. I think I have a better grasp on motherhood and life and what it's supposed to like be like when you breastfeed. Stay tuned for that, but also formula is pretty nice.